Welcome to bChic, Not Bougie. I'm your host, Alicia, alongside DJ Richie. How you doing today?
I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good. It was a good weekend, and I'm good.
Oh, your weekend was good? You remember your weekend this time? How was your weekend?
Do I remember? Oh, I just remember like Super Bowl. So
I
you
can't. There goes my Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
So the game itself wasn't great, but the like we always have a get together.
Yeah.
My cousin always has something. So, just the fellas hanging out and just drinking and talking.
It's good vibes.
Yeah,
it's good vibes. Did you go out at all? Like aside from that?
This weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I went to well, I'm lying. A Saturday I went out. I can't remember Friday. It's too long ago. But Saturday I went out.
Yeah.
And Saturday, shout out to Fire Kid Steenie. Saturday was supposed to be Steenie's party.
Yeah.
And it got canceled. And it kind of sucks because, you know what I mean? He has one party for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And just because of some things that have been happening in the city lately, he kind of was the first one after to be affected by it.
I heard about this now.
Yeah.
Okay, now I heard different things. Can we talk about it?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
So I was hearing something in regards to that with the liquor permit or license or whatever, and something to do with it being transferred over and it expiring, and then the party got locked off.
So ultimately, there's a lot of different stories, but it's to me and to a lot of other people, it's a direct result of the incident that happened last week, where there was a party, a dancehall party, and there was a double homicide at the party. It was inside, right? So I mean, obviously, like there's been like liquor issues and liquor license issues and all these type of things before, but they very rarely cancel your party, right? They'll maybe even take your liquor and they'll be like, hey, figure this out or whatever the case may be. But they very rarely shut down your party and like, yeah, there's no party happening. And a lot of people, well, myself and others, we think it's a direct correlation towards what happened. Because now it's like they're going to start paying closer attention to dancehall parties, start paying closer attention to who's following the rules in terms of security, in terms of licenses, in terms of insurance for venues and all types of things. So getting banquet halls now is going to be a lot harder than it was before because this happened inside of a hall.
Gotcha.
So the police now are actually maybe reportedly going around and telling hall owners like, do not rent dance hall parties because it's just like legitimately they smoke weed in your party.
Yeah, I know.
They sell liquor after 2:00. They do all of these things. They
break every
law, every rule. So if you want to be held liable for, and then all they have to do is pull up the news story where there's 2 murders at a banquet hall party, which the banquet hall could be held liable. You know what I mean? Depending on the contract and the agreement and everything like that, like the back end details. So shout out Steenie, like his party got canceled, which really sucked because his party is one of the biggest ones for the year.
Is. We're talking
about
what
I mean? And it sucks that it had to be him.
Was a lot of people?
A lot of people. It wasn't as many as it could have been because it was still early when it happened.
Okay, gotcha.
So, but there was a good amount like in the parking lot.
Because they normally start coming late because we know they go like
exactly
stupid late.
And then with Steenie's parties, a lot of people have gotten locked out over years. Yeah. So now they go early. They go from like 11:30 and 12:00.
Yeah, especially in the wintertime.
Exactly. So I mean, it sucks it had to be him. So that night I wasn't going there, but I was playing somewhere else.
Worked out for you.
Yeah, but like he's a good dude in the industry. You know what I mean? And he's put in his work. So it sucks that had to happen to him. But just keep the faith, and we got to do better. Like
we do. Culture, can we please stop smoking in these bars? As much as we love, just a little moments, but there's edibles, people. There's edibles.
Yeah,
don't smoke.
Take your time with those two.
Well, yeah, don't go crazy, but but I mean, at the same time, I mean, the amount of you see some people smoke some serious chalice. So I'm just saying, you just need to. There's a balance. You know what I mean? Sure. So find your balance. At least that way, that doesn't lock off the party. Because I hate when I go to a dancehall party and it gets locked off for smoking.
Yeah,
pisses me off. Because then just stop smoking.
Yeah,
like let me just enjoy myself. We're already sweat out because there's no fans ever in these dancehall parties. But it's all right. It's okay.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was it was good. What did we do? I actually had it was my dad's birthday yesterday.
Oh,
so happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday. Your pops. Your cool pops.
Yes, my cool pops. So
Pops is real.
we had right? That's my dude, yo. That's my nigga.
Real.
Like he really is my nigga. So we had a party for him on Saturday. And yesterday just cooked dinner. It was like a low-key thing. Super Bowl, pretty much we went to check some friends. They had like something at the barber shop. Oh, okay. And then we went to JP's after. So it's good vibes. It was just a good low-key weekend with some friends.
We're getting old, Alicia. We got these are the weekends. Now.
These are our weekends.
These are our weekends.
No, my weekends normally mean I'm staying inside.
Oh, really?
In wintertime.
So this was like a turn-up weekend for you.
This was my turn-up weekend. I was really impressed with myself. I stayed up. I wasn't complaining the next day. And, you know, I had a little nap, but not big nap. But,
that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So let's get into this, though. So stay woke news updates. So messy weather is on its way. It hurts my heart to say that.
I'm hearing like what?
So tomorrow, so Wednesday, the temperature isn't expected to top -3, so -3. It may feel, however, closer to -11 with the wind chill. So Environment Canada has also issued a special weather statement for Toronto, warning that there's possibility of freezing rain from the afternoon, and that could go into later on to like rush hour and the evening. And that will make your commute a little bit messy. Precipitation.
That's the one. You got it.
I pushed through. Is expected to begin tomorrow morning, and ice pellets begin, but they'll mix with freezing rain near the midday, and this can persist for like around the several hours, and just before the evening or a little bit overnight. And so this also puts us. Some places at a flooding risk still remains because there's been a lot of, the snow melting from the past big storm that we had, or snowstorm. So this on top of it, I can only imagine when that melts as well, will be a little messy. So please, if you can, like shovel by your windows. Yeah, like the ice, snow. Like if you have snow now, which it should be mostly melted already.
A lot of it, yeah. Just
try to like clear that area or cover it. I don't know. They have some shields as well to protect if you have basement windows. So look into those things as soon as possible, if not tomorrow. Some travelers, though, in Toronto Pearson's International Airport last month may have been exposed to measles.
What?
Yeah. I know.
A month ago? Why are you telling me this now?
Well, better late than never. So they say, so public health authorities are concerned in the light of the confirmed cases of the illness. So they say people in Terminal 1 on Sunday, January 27th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. may be at risk. Those who weren't near people arriving are aboard, I would say here, Frankfurt around 4:08 p.m. may have been exposed, and also risk those connected to the Air Canada flights AC834 or LH6829 that left Toronto at 6 p.m. for Montreal. So authorities urge anyone that may have been exposed to check immunization records, which watch for measles symptoms. The symptoms can actually take up to 21 days after exposure that they have. And
what are measles symptoms?
High fever, cold-like symptoms, sore eyes and sensitivity to light, small spots with a white center on the inside of your mouth, and a reddish rash lasting for several days. Don't do that. Just checking. Sure. We're okay. Sure. I think we're all right. And a man who was struck by arrow in residential area of London, Ontario early this morning has died in the hospital, police say. I said that very easygoing, but an arrow.
I like Robin Hood, that's like bow and arrow. People
that's what I'm assuming.
Arrows now,
right? And I don't get it. So London police say that they were called to Arbor Glen Crescent in the city's northeast at 12:50 a.m. for a report of a male victim struck by an arrow. Emergency crews arrived to find a man suffering from life-threatening injuries. Investigators says he was rushed to a hospital where he was undergoing surgery. So police said he was later pronounced dead. Condolences to his family, because that is so sad to know that.
That's so weird.
Not a gunshot, but an arrow. Investigators say no arrests have been made, and they are still working on determining what led to the incident and whether the occurrence poses as a risk to the public safety. And yeah, they're obviously going to do an examination on the body and so forth. So that was today they're doing it. That's scary, because realistically, like, what if it's just the shooter on somewhere and just...
Legit, I feel like the person that did it wasn't even aiming at him. It's just kind of like, let me just shoot this arrow.
The wrong person.
And then it just kind of like... An arrow? What the...
I know. How?
Where do you buy? No, okay.
They do. They people. I remember in school, in high school, we had classes for that.
Like archery.
Archery, right? So I don't know. I know people are practicing and don't practice outside. Use a target board. Go in an area secluded where no one's there.
Go in your garage.
Right? Like, let's go in a safe area. They have classes for that. Go there and learn how to do it. But that's it for Stay Woke news updates. What's going on with events, Richie?
So it's the beginning of Black History Month. So shout out all the black people because it's Black History Month.
Yourself.
So a lot of events are coming up next in the coming week, so definitely stay tuned and listen out for those. So this week is kind of like still a wrap up. It's tied in. I guess next week is Valentine's, so it's kind of like a it is next week.
Oh my gosh.
You weren't aware?
No, I wasn't. I can't even lie to you. I'm not up to date with these things anymore.
We'll talk about that.
We will talk.
I was gonna say like people in relationships
should.
But I'm gonna leave it alone.
I feel like it's more of a guy thing. Like
this
guys,
again.
so
really,
we could talk about that.
Really,
guys should be paying more attention.
We're doing this again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, ending this Thursday is Winterlicious. Winterlicious. I've never attended or been a part. Do you know Winterlicious?
Yes.
It's like Summerlicious.
Have I been to Winterlicious? No, I went to Summerlicious, not Winterlicious.
So Winterlicious, it actually ends this Thursday. So if you are able to, definitely check it out. There's 192 restaurants participating in Winterlicious this year. And it's basically 3-course meals, like priced fixed meals. So there's 3 lunch prices, $23, $28 and $33, and the dinner prices are $33, $43 and $53. So it's super dope. If there's like restaurants you've always heard about that you never got a chance to go to, they're usually participating in these things, so definitely check that out if you can. Happening on Sunday, like I said, Valentine's. So this is the 6th annual When East Meets West. It's a pre-Valentine's singles Sunday afternoon social. So it sounds interesting for single people, and I need to stress this is a multicultural single mixer, matchmaking and social networking.
Please
event.
Be single.
I mean, I feel like it should start there. You know what I mean? I feel like that should be like the #1 thing. If you don't hit that criteria, then you probably shouldn't be going.
You shouldn't be, but people do. You
should call them out.
When we used to we did speed dating events.
Speed dating, yeah.
And yeah, I would be like, "Are you guys single?" And
they would say no.
They'd be like, "Hey," and then towards the end of the night, like, "Nah, I'm gonna," and I'm just like, not all of them, like, mind you, because we got some really good guys, but at the same time, like, you'd find the 1 or 2, and you're just like, why you come? Because you lying to me and you lying to them. It doesn't make. What are you looking for? Or wasting people's time?
Yeah, that's the one right there.
Yeah, but then they could be looking for a side
chick. Yeah. I wonder if you write that down. Like, listen,
I would rather a guy write that down so I know what because that's what you're looking for.
But then that shuts off like everything.
No, that opens doors for what you want. Because there's some girls, I know a lot of girls that are okay with being side chicks. There's a whole show about
knowing that they're side chicks.
You know this. Why are you acting surprised?
No, but I mean, like, I feel like if you meet somebody and then you like the person and then you find out that they have a girlfriend, it's different. But if I've like my leading statement to you is like, hey, I'm looking for someone on the side. This is how I break the ice.
Yes.
That works?
That does.
Wow. That's weird.
It is weird because people are okay with being a side piece because they don't have the responsibility of the partner. Like, I don't have to buy you gifts. I don't have to call you often. I don't have to take you out. But that's men, though. Huh?
That's most men. Most men are willing to do that.
Okay, so men are okay, but so are women, because then women also feel like men lie, they cheat, I don't have the time for it. So I'm just gonna slide in and get what I need and go about my business, because he doesn't have the time to antagonize my soul because he has a whole woman at home. And it's unfortunate, but that's how some people see things. Like, they're just like, hey, it's easy for me. It's easy for you.
The world is
It's weird. Sad because I wish that it wasn't like, not everybody's like that, but some people, the amount of girls that are okay with, like, they announce, like, I'm a side piece, like, I'm like, I know what it is. This guy, he's a player, and
Can you tag them on Instagram? I just want to see, like, what we're working. Like, I just want an idea
the caliber of these type of women.
Like, I just want to see, like, what scale we're working with.
I know.
Okay, that's
they're pretty girls, educated, whatever, but it's just one of those situations where, again, a lot of women are just fed up. Because you get into these serious relationships and then these guys have their side tings. So it's like, let me be a side ting and see what I can benefit. So if I can get dinner and sex and no headaches and phone calls and all the extra shit that you have to deal with in relationships, then okay.
Wow.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So
except when they catch feelings.
None of those people will be
none of them. I apologize. We're off a little bit.
It's happening, like I said, Sunday the 10th. Tickets are right now $28 if you register online and $35 at the door if there is space permitting. And last but not least, this Tuesday, February the 12th, super cool event is called Raising Our Voices. It's sharing Black Canadian stories. It's presented by Historica Canada and TD Bank, and it's a night of storytelling and music and celebrating the achievements of historical and contemporary Black Canadians. So some of the speakers that will be present include Jamal McGlure, former NBA player Jamal McGlure, 2018 Giller Prize winner, like best-selling author Isi Edugan.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And
sorry for super name.
TV host Akil Augustine, and a lot more other speakers. And I like this event because it is free 99. So that takes place next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Oh, we can't.
Yeah, we can't go.
We'll be here.
We'll be here. But if you're not here or listening, watching, you can attend it. It starts at 6, so you can actually go. It's from 6 to 9. So you can actually go, leave at 9, and then like stream us on your phone and then as you're going home. But don't drive and stream us.
No, sit down in the parking lot or stay there.
Yeah.
Mingle and tell people to watch us.
Exactly. Like gather all together. We should stream it live there once the thing is done.
We'll talk
all these ideas. But that's what's going on. That's it.
I like that. Those are great events. We have to honestly plan a day where we decide, let's go.
We're actually going to go.
We have to.
To one of these things.
We have to. Yeah. And Candy made up a great point. We should host one. So we're going to start putting that in the atmosphere. We're going to work on that. Okay? So let's see. Fashion buzz. So honestly, I know we say it's Black History Month, but it's like Black History Month here every week because we always celebrate Black people. So
it's Black History life.
It's life. It's a lifestyle. So we don't just wait for February. We don't just wait for when they pass away. We actually try to celebrate them while they're still alive. So this week's fashion buzz icon is none other than Bad Boy, Bobby Brown. Yes, my dude. It's his birthday today, by the way, as well.
Is it really?
Happy birthday. Yes, February 5th, 1969.
He old.
Leave him. That's not that. Whatever.
He's like 50.
You know what? We're almost there.
Whoa, slow down. He's
like, I am far from that. Whatever. Robert Beresford Brown. That's his actual name.
His name is Beresford?
Beresford. Oh, Lord. Sorry. So I'm going to call him Bobby.
His mom is Jamaican. His parents are Jamaican. Definitely Jamaican.
Oh, you guys spoiled to pick the name. He is an American R&B singer, songwriter, occasional rapper. Did you hear him? Yeah, he's rapped a few times. Dancer and actor. And he started his career in the R&B group New Edition, and from its inception in 1978 until his exit from the group in 1985, he started a solo career, and he enjoyed his success with his second album in 1988, Don't Be Cruel, which spawned a number of hit singles and self-penned My Prerogative, that's my jam, the Grammy Award-winning Every Little Step. Brown had a stripe of top 10 hits on various Billboard charts between 1986 to 1993. He is noted as a pioneer of the New Jack Swing, a fusion of hip hop and R&B. And you guys, if I know you didn't watch the.
I actually just watched it.
Did you?
No, I'm lying. I didn't watch his. I watched the New Edition one.
You have to watch his.
I didn't watch Bobby's yet.
Love him. So. He's been through a lot. That's all I got to say to you. He's been through a lot, but even just creating this, the fusion of hip hop and R&B, it just obviously blew up and it worked for him. And his style, the way he did his hair, everything about him was always just anything he touched turned to gold, and I loved it. I love his aura. I love everything. And he's just, he's one of those guys. I know that obviously he's older. He was touring, I think he was touring still back in No, I'm lying to you. I don't want to make up it. They did a New Edition reunion tour that was in 1996 to 1997. And then he returned with the 6 members for an additional time in 2005. He also does, I think he has a cooking show and not cooking show. He does there's a book. I need to look that back up. He cooks. He has a cookbook And I need to go back into that because I stopped looking because I was doing other things. He's a cookbook. He cooks, okay? But you'll also see that stuff if you watch the documentary. Aside from that, he did star in films such as A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, Who Can Play That Game. And I feel like he needs to be celebrated because God knows he's done a lot in terms of music and his career, who he's married. Whitney. I love her, although they didn't.
But he lost, like, he's one of the, what's the most controversial,
he is, and
polarizing like figures in the black community, because you really don't know if you should like him, if you should love him, if you should support him, or if you should hate him. You know what I mean? Because of everything that we think and everything that the media portrayed of him. It's like, what side do you fall on? And because did he beat Whitney?
No.
Whitney.
Okay, well, based off the movies that I've watched, Whitney did a lot of hitting towards him. And to me, it never seemed like it was something where he bashed her.
Wasn't he ever arrested for like domestic assault? I'm gonna Google it right now.
Not with her.
So he hit other people.
No, he didn't. Okay, so I don't want to, you know what? Let me correct myself. Not with any of the women that they showed. A lot of the times, these girls were upset with him because he had multiple women. He slept around, he cheated, he would have a baby mother, then sleep with another woman, and then get her pregnant, and then found Whitney, and then, you know what I mean? Even when she got her pregnant, she lost her first child because she found out that he also slept with his ex-baby mother or whatever, and then he got her pregnant too, and all this kind of, you know what I mean? So she ended up losing her first child that she had with him. There was just a lot of things going on, but it's kind of hard to say who started the cocaine and crack and whatever they were doing, the drugs.
That's the whole thing, because a lot of people, like, it says, like, you know, he was previously charged for like hitting Whitney, and he says the records are wrong.
I believe it. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to deny it, but
well, that's what I'm saying.
They never really showed that in the movie. Like, you didn't see in the movie. No, but they showed a lot of stuff. So my thing is, why not? If he did do it, or if you're saying it,
but maybe there's like something. I feel like that one they can maybe downplay or hide, whereas if they or when they do the Chris Brown story, they can't hide that one.
Certain things, but you need to. Okay, if you watch it, and I think they had one for Whitney too. But if you watch it, you'll have your own kind of opinion. There's certain things that weren't connecting with the Whitney story and his story in terms of the timeline of who.
So isn't that our problem?
No, because for me, I feel like sometimes you're never really gonna know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can only go off of your feeling. And for me, I don't really get that vibe from him. I feel like he genuinely loved Whitney so much, and he loved the idea that she loved him back, even for who he was. Because when he was with Janet was with the Jabarge, whatever, and he was light skinned, and it was almost like she was ashamed of him, so she never really brought him around. You know what I mean? Where when he met Whitney, he's like, they were out in public, and he was almost like, you know, like, am I okay with being? And she was like, I'm with you. This is a date. Like, what are you talking about? For me, I felt like from that moment on, it was just like, and Whitney could do no wrong. And even how he ended up cheating on her, again, I don't know the full story because it's what they're telling us, but certain things I kind of believe. So I don't really believe
it. Would be interesting to watch both of them. I'd have to watch both of them back to back and then compare.
But did you ever watch the reality show?
No.
Watch them interacting with each other. Whitney is very bossy. So for me, I just don't see it being like Bobby hitting her. I definitely
Whitney did coke. I mean,
so what did he? Crack.
Bobby did coke. So I feel like he would have hit Whitney.
I don't feel like it. Whitney would make him leave to go buy more coke, even if it was in the middle of the night or whatever time, and they were high as hell. She's like, go and don't come back until you have it. Like, anyways, that's a whole debate. But that's just something I feel we're not gonna tarnish your name on your birthday. So all I'm saying is this is why you're the icon or Fashion Buzz icon of the week, because you're just amazing. I just think that there's so many things that you contributed to R&B, and
he did. I mean, there's definitely like a
story. They say the new Jack Swing. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I feel like hip hop and R&B, you know, like the Ashantis and Ja Rules and all that. You know what I mean? All people just mixing hip hop and R&B together, where he was that one. He just did it. He didn't need another person to do it with him. He did the singing and the rapping. I like that.
Shout out Bobby Brown.
Shout out to you.
Last name is Brown. He's a good guy.
Shout out to him. Do you want to do some entertainments?
So just a couple things, because I know we've been missing for a couple weeks, so we missed some things. But kind of we'll move backwards. So the NFL, apparently they put out numbers, TV numbers, and the Super Bowl that just passed it had the lowest rating that a Super Bowl has ever had in the past 10 years. Horrible. So a lot of people are tying this into the Colin Kaepernick and saying, like, you know, blacks really did protest against the game and didn't watch. I mean, even
Cardi was like, she lost some shmoney. She was like,
yeah, I mean,
but it was a good cause. He lost his
career.
It's
hard for me to say that's the real reason, because it's one of those things like where we know like 95% of North America, will tie ourselves in, of blacks are against Trump, right? So we can all like hold hands in solidarity and be against Trump. But when it comes to like the NFL, again, it's one of those things like you pick a side, you're either with it or you're against it, because there's still a very high percentage of black players in the league, right? And you still have a lot of black celebrities that go to the games, that support the teams, that held Super Bowl parties, that played a role. Big Boy and Travis Scott performed. Yeah. So, I mean,
those people also have bills to pay.
Exactly.
So it's like, I get it. It's what he's standing for, and kudos to him for doing it, because not a lot of people can do that. Not everybody's gonna have a Malcolm X in them. You know what I mean? Not everybody's gonna have a Martin Luther King in them. So at the end of the day, if he stood up to be that, then I feel like that's a great look. However, I also don't wrong people for saying I have a whole family, I have $1 million home and mortgage, I got bills to pay. So if I jump out with him, what am I going to do? Because now you're going to be the second person doing it, or the 10th person doing it, and then you won't really get anything. There's not that the first person doing it may get more opportunities, but the other 5 people.
Yeah, because he got that whole deal with Nike for that campaign, and you know,
not everybody's gonna get that same deal. Not every, and you never know. So my thing is, I don't blame them, because had they been the first person, you don't know if he would have been the next person. You know what I mean? Because then you start looking at your opportunities as well. Like for him being the first, I think you kind of in your mind already know this is a big statement. You're gonna have a lot of haters. You're not gonna probably get that same job again, but you're gonna have many more other opportunities open those doors.
Different avenues for sure.
Yeah.
So that happened. So your boyfriend Tekashi 6ix9ine.
I don't know if he's my ex.
Oh, now he's your ex. Now he's your ex.
He's my ex-boyfriend.
So Tekashi, for those who don't know, it actually shocked me.
It shocked me.
He pled to 8 of the 9 charges. And his charges were no joke. Like, even when he got arrested, I was like, these are not
baby charges.
Yeah, like
not a couple months in probation.
Racketeering and all of it. Like, this was not a plaything. So he surprisingly pled guilty to 8 of the 9 charges, and now he is actually cooperating with the feds to provide evidence and testimony against other 9 Trey Blood members, which is the gang that he was allegedly
Where's he going?
A part of.
Where does he plan on going to? He can't go to jail. Send him somewhere.
And I think one of this, well, yeah, he's been transferred since then from the jail he was in, from the federal jail, to a new facility for security reasons. Obviously, you
need to be in a cell by himself.
And one of the most shocking things about this, well, we'll get back to his thing. He is facing a minimum, this is nuts, a minimum of 47 years in prison for pleading guilty.
Why would he do this?
I do not. That tells me the evidence they had against him was like closed deal, seal it shut. And they're like, listen, if you go to trial, you're gonna lose and you're getting 100 years.
I would rather that. Is that wrong that I say that?
To take your chances?
If you're gonna, if you're giving me, my minimum is 40 something years. I'm taking my chances with 100.
I might take my
because
chances.
I feel like no matter what, even if you go for 100, you're not going for no damn 100. Yeah. You know what I mean? As a celebrity, so he might as well. They should have just said. I would have been like, okay. Yeah.
So with this, with the 47 years, I mean, even if he is cooperating, they can. I don't see them cutting them more than half, which is still 20 plus years. It's a lot. Sentence. Like, this dude was at the top. You know what I mean? He had #1 hit after #1 hit, top 10 Billboard hits. So after stupid. He showed all his plaques. He legit kept saying, like, I made myself legitimately. Like, I came from nothing. I rapped for less than a year.
And look at me now.
And look what I've done for myself. I'm costing $100,000 per show. Like, I don't show up for less than 100 grand. Blah blah blah, and all of that
gone
down the drain. And he admitted to paying somebody to shoot Chief Keef. So that attempted hit on Chief Keef, he actually admitted to that in court, that was him. So I mean, Tekashi, it was
something's going. I don't know. Like, do you believe that he admitted?
I honestly, when I read it, Because I first saw the post about his girlfriend or his baby mother saying, now she has to pick up the pieces
and worry about her. She's worried about her life and her child.
And I was like, this can't be real. So I Googled it right away. And then I kept reading this. But I'm like, I even tweeted, I'm like, this sounds like fake news, but it's not. I'm like, this just sounds like a headline. Like, it can't be real. You know what I mean? But his sentencing is set for January of next year. So January 2020. I mean, he'll be locked up until then, and then he gets sentenced. Yo,
I would have just took it, just been like,
bro, I don't know, man.
I don't know nothing. I ain't saying nothing.
And last but not least, Savage 21 Savage, 21 Savage. We might have to change his name soon. He is a UK born.
Who knew?
Again, this came out. I was like, is this fake news week? Like, what is happening? Who's releasing all these stories? He got arrested by ICE, which is like the immigration of something. I don't even know what they are. They're the immigration something enforcement. He got arrested by them. He has been in the States for 14 years past his visa. So essentially, he was born in the UK. His family came on work visas. He was a child, so obviously he came with them. Everybody's visa expired and they just stayed, and 14 years later they've arrested him, and he's actually still locked up right now, and he's facing possible deportation.
It's immigration and custom enforcement.
Immigration, okay,
US,
there we go.
Immigration and custom.
So immigration and custom enforcement, and he's facing deportation, which is the weirdest thing to me, because somebody said, like, the immigration and custom enforcement agent said his persona, like his whole street persona, is a lie. Like, that whole thing is
he's not from ATL.
He's not from he spent time there, and
but like, you weren't born and raised.
You weren't born and raised, and you went there, and you, like, for the last 14 years you've been here. So Savage 21 is what, 25, 28 now, or whatever the case may. So like,
they said that he went on a visa, and then it was only supposed to be for a year, and then he ended up just staying the rest of the time.
And they just stayed. And
a lot of, unfortunately, people do, right?
But, well, yeah, but I mean, I feel like you would get to that certain level. It's just like when celebrities get caught driving on a suspended license,
and you're like
all these things. Like, you have people that can handle this stuff.
Do you know who you are?
You have the money to handle these things. Like, you know your situation, Savage. Like, bruh, hit your lawyer and be like, listen, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Do what you could do under the quiet. You know what I mean?
And then he had charges too. So that also, they're trying to say that's why they're also. I think in some certain circumstances they could allow him to continue to live there and continue to work and tour and stuff. But because of the criminal charges, although they said it's supposed to be like wiped out at that time, they're still trying to pull that on him.
Depending on what they are, yeah. So I mean, it's been a weird week. It's been a weird couple of weeks.
I just can't imagine. That's interesting, though. But yeah, it has been a weird week. A lot of things have been happening.
Bow Wow got arrested,
and we're gonna talk about that. we're gonna talk, because honestly, I'm not even laughing. You know what? I'm gonna be very serious with the Bow Wow situation, and we're gonna get into that. Actually, did you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
No, okay. So random topics this week, because there's just so many random things to talk about. So I want to talk about domestic violence, okay, and specifically when it comes to men versus women, because how we handle it, especially in the media, I feel like it's so harsh. I don't think that we take it as serious when it comes to men. And like, my thing is, why do we find it so funny? Like, is it because, look at the little girl and then you see a big man? But to me, I feel like for a man of a certain size to withhold all that anger and frustration and not beat a woman down to black and blue the way he could have, like Chris Brown. Even with Chris Brown, be like, if I think of Rihanna and Chris Brown, their mugshots, you can obviously see that they were both fighting, but Rihanna lost. And my thing is, if Rihanna started it and he finished it, it makes it worse.
In the eyes of the public, yes.
But that to me is, I'm not saying, I don't know. I feel like once you get to a certain point, like, there's a video, I'm not sure if any of you have seen this, but there's a clip, and it's a woman and a man in a parking lot, and the guy is ripped, he's huge, and it looks like his fiance or girlfriend, whoever, and she's just pushing him, and she's slapping him, and she's kicking him, and she's doing everything, and you could just see him just trying to be loving, like, calm down, and for probably at least like 5 minutes, she's doing this repeatedly, kicking him hard, punching him in his face. So when he came in, he hugged her, like, to hold her down like this. He kissed her, and then she pushed him away and slapped him, and it's like something went off. He punched her down, and she got just knocked down to a pulp. But I'm just like, did you not see that coming? Did you not expect something to happen? And if nothing does happen, he's the punk.
I mean, I like when you say these things because
okay, good.
Men can't do it.
Right?
You get what I'm saying? Like, men cannot defend hitting a woman at any time ever. Like, it's never okay accepted. In either situation. You get what I'm saying? So it's one of those situations, like, people will very rarely, like, if never be like, you know what? Maybe Chris Brown took as much as he could take, and then that happened. Yeah. No.
And you black out. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure people been in fights, but I've been in a couple of fights. You black out at a certain point. You just do some wild shit. And then even when you look at the person, like, damn, I did that. Like, you don't really recall because you're so angry. Like, so many things take over you. You know what I mean? But you're pushing somebody to that limit. And I'm not saying it's right because, yes, get out of my car. The thing is, get out of my car. You can easily say that. You don't tell a black woman to get out of your car because something's going to happen. You know what I mean? Most black women or anybody, not even just women, you'll snap. You know what I mean? Depending on the situation. If it's my man or ex or whatever, like, you may handle it a different way and you feel like you have some authority over that person. So you put your hands on them and you do a couple of things to, like, piss them off. But just expect a repercussion. Like, just expect it, whatever you're about to give, you could get back times 10.
I just want to know when it became, like, why women think, like, I can, like, hit. Like, if the man's first reaction isn't to hit you, why is that the woman's first reaction? Like, what is it that you're so angry that you just can't? Because, I mean, I feel like the men could, like, everybody's a human being.
Yes.
So, as angry as I get, I could be like, all right, let me go break a glass, or let me go, you know, fight the wind. But, like, I'm not going to hit you. Yeah. Because in my mind, I know where that leads to. Women don't have the same.
We do, right? So but it also takes a little bit of control because we are smaller. I feel like because we're smaller, we don't think it hurts you as much.
Is that so?
I'm speaking for myself. I can't speak for every woman, but I know we're smaller. I can pack a good punch. So for me, I know I won't put my full force into somebody that I care about, playfully, cool, whatever, but I do my best not to get physical. Have I been physical with somebody before? 100%. And that was, you know, a bad relationship. But at the same time, it was one of those, you know, if you piss me off and you antagonize me and you do things to, like, legitly hurt my feelings, especially when you've been with somebody for a while, it's hard to just walk away and be the bigger person. You just want to clock them one time and then, you know, now I can walk away. But then it once you do it one time, it almost feels like when he does it again, you could do it again, you know, and that person may not hit you for the longest while. And then one day it just builds up and they hit you. But then would I go and call the police on that person? No, I'm gonna find my way to bust your ass again. And then I'm gonna be done, you know. But
what would you think of a man that did call the police on you?
I wasn't there. It wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about.
So if he went and filed a whole police report and was like, look at, like, Chris Brown.
No, I don't leave evidence.
Scratches and
stuff. No, because it would be your word against mine. And look at me, like, it would be your words against mine. Like, I just feel like I personally would never. I'm not gonna go pick up no bat. I'm not gonna go stab you because I'm not going to jail, guys. Like, let's just be real. So I mean, the hits that I'm given is kind of like, I know you can take it.
Have you ever made a man bleed? So, okay, we will.
Okay, so I was just gonna talk about Bow Wow. Let's get into Bow Wow and his girlfriend when they were knocked down. So I haven't made a man bleed like that, like bleed out. I'm gonna answer that question.
Well, like, have you drawn blood?
Yeah, bites, cuts, skin. Okay. Broke a
you
little,
bite when you fight?
Broke a little foot, whatever, ankle or
you
twisted.
did what?
Just things happen, Richie, and not that they're supposed to, but there's things that happened, and it was bad. Sorry for announcing this. My mom's watching this. She's like, when did this happen? Yeah, let's just talk about that. So, but I'm okay.
I can see that. Yeah.
So let's get into another topic and not get into that anymore. We'll talk one-on-one. So Bow Wow and his girlfriend, I want to get into that situation. So this is according to TMZ. So Leslie Holden, that's her name. She called the Atlanta PD around 4 a.m. Saturday and Bow Wow for assault. She told the officers at the scene the fight started right after they got home from a party. So Leslie, who appears to be on Growing Hip Hop, who cares about that? Bow Wow claims he was pissed when she was talking to the man at the party and lit into her about it when he got home, and the police report obtained by TMZ says that Leslie says Bow Wow hit her in the head, pulled her by her hair, dragged her from her balcony, and told her to get the hell out. That was her report, okay? For his part, Bow Wow acknowledged being pissed about the other guy, telling cops she's disrespected him by hanging all over him and another man's body. He claims that she called him a bitch-ass nigger, and when he complained about her behavior, he claims he merely told her to leave his home and placed her bags by the door. And he claims that she grabbed a nightstand lamp and threw it at him. He says she missed him with the lamp, but scratched the hell out of his face, which is obvious in the mugshot. And obviously when the officer says he came, he saw the lamp on the ground when he entered the bedroom. And the cops observed the red marks on Leslie's fingers, as well as a broken fingernail. So, just looking at the mugshot and hearing these stories, when you see both of them, I don't believe you, Leslie. And I'm just going to be very real with you. Your hair looked like it was still intact. For somebody that was dragged. My hair's not gonna be a nice ponytail. And a matter of fact, if I'm calling the police, I'm leaving my body the exact way it is. So I'm not pulling my hair back to make it look cute for no damn mugshots. You're gonna see me in all glory of what happened. So for me, I feel like looking at the two pictures, because you see the pictures, right?
Yeah.
Bow Wow you can tell he was scratched up. And even him saying like, yeah, like she threw this. If they came and see all these things, my thing is, when you look at social media, they're so critical and they're so mean to people that Bow Wow didn't even hit her, in my opinion. If he pushed her or trying to drag her out, it's his home. But however, I don't feel like that was the case. And
again, only females can say this stuff, man.
I just feel like if this was, again, like if it was a situation with Chris Brown and Rihanna and his face looked like hers, would she have gotten in the same trouble?
Hell no. And
that shit pisses me off. Because one day, and for me, I feel like as much as I'm a female, and yes, I'm all for females. I'm not sitting here saying like for the women that have really been in domestic violence and hurt or whatever, that's where my heart goes out to. But I feel like for the women that cry wolf, for the women that, they hit
especially
and do all these things,
the fight.
That shit pisses me off because I'm sorry, like I have brothers and I don't want them to be wrongfully accused of these type of things and go to jail for some dumb broad who wants to make up a story because she found out you had another girl or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So we have to really look into these stories, and even just looking at this and looking at pictures, like I'm not no detective, but I'm pretty sure I can figure this case out. Look at his face. The proof is there. I don't care what he did. He didn't deserve all that in his face.
But then you know what you have now, and it's one of those buzzwords against that I personally, I will say I hate it, but I will never like speak on it or why. But you have this whole like victim blaming, where it's basically like you look at her and you saying you look fine, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't believe you. Or it's just like you blame the victim or you don't believe the victim, and it's just like, oh, this is why women don't report these stories, and this is why so many women sit in silence out of fear for not being believed, and all. So again,
the numbers
men gotta just take a back seat and like, hey, zip my lip.
I disagree. I feel like the numbers are very high for women versus men. You know what I mean? Men will not come out and step forward because of these situations, because we're going to laugh at you on social media. We're going to laugh at you when it comes up in the news. We're going to feel like, look at you, like you couldn't handle her. You know what I mean? And no offense, look at Bow Wow. He's little. I'm sorry, you little Bow Wow, okay? And so for me, I feel like even if he wasn't little, if she still did that, that is wrong. And there's men that don't come forward because they feel like they're going to be victimized. Like now she can flip the script, even though she has no marks on her body. That's okay. The amount of women falsely accusing these men of all these type of things, men that serve jail sentences, and years later to find out, 25 years later, just wanted to tell you that it never happened. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't happen the other way around.
For sure.
So to me, I feel like it's actually the opposite. Men are not coming forward. And that's actually why I wanted to bring it up, because I feel like men need to come forward about domestic violence, because maybe that will actually stop the cycle of women doing it more to men and then one day killing or really hurting a woman badly, because that's what ends up happening. Continuing this conversation, but a little different. At the Super Bowl, we're having a conversation, and it was about men being raped by women. So, okay. Some were saying, I don't believe a man can be raped by a woman.
Both men and women? Or just women?
Well, I'm not even gonna bring men because I think a man can rape another man.
No. I'm saying the people that were saying they don't believe were those.
Yeah. So my homegirl Misha, she was like, not that she doesn't believe, but it was more like, how is this happening? How is it possible for you to be attracted to a woman, you to get hard, and her to physically rape you? How is that possible?
The same way a girl gets raped.
How is what she said. I know how my answer is, but what's your answer?
I feel like it's the same way a girl gets raped because people, like, I guess 50 years ago, whenever rape was looked at as I'm just like see you and I'm just gonna aggressively take you in a corner somewhere and like have sex with you. You know what I mean? Where now there's like date rape and there's, you know what I mean? There's she said no as much as, and they always say like once she says no, that's it,
no,
right? So that's still considered rape. So I could be attracted to you and I like you and whatever, and naturally, like whatever's happening, my body's getting turned on naturally, but my mind is like, nah, I don't want to do this. I don't think this is a good idea for whatever reason.
I agree.
You can still rape me.
I agree, and it's not a funny matter, but I completely agree with you. I feel like once you say no, it's no. But obviously there's situations like it could be you're in a relationship or you're married, whatever the case may be, and it's hard. Like, let's be real. Like when you're out there and you're hanging out and maybe you're intoxicated or whatever the case may be, and someone's coming on to you that's very attractive and you're attracted to them, obviously, you're going to be hard. You know what I mean? And so if she's like kissing on you and you're like, hey, stop, you know what I mean? And she keeps doing it, but she's obviously taking advantage of the fact that you are intoxicated. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but it's very possible for her to take your pants.
It is. There was a movie like that, and even though it was a comedy, but there was that movie where like the guy was waiting 21 days or whatever it was to have sex with his girlfriend. He got drugged, and the girl went in and raped him. And it's like when he woke up, you
said what you said. And
when he woke up, he was looking at it. He was like, "Holy, like what happened?" And he sees the girl getting up and taking the condom, and it's just like, "Whoa, wait." So
what happened?
It's very possible, but the joke is, again, like I guess now it wouldn't be as accepted because I feel like a scene like that in day and age, I mean, you could never do a joke rape scene about a female. With a woman, no, you know what I mean? No. You could never get away with that.
It would be like a serious serial killer or horror movie when they have those.
You could never be like, oh, I drugged her, fell asleep, and had sex with her. Like Rick Ross talked about it in a song and had to like delete the whole verse out of the song. You know what I mean? Just talked about like drugging a girl and having sex with her. But on the flip side, it's just like, hey,
it's the same, and I think it's the same thing. And once again, men don't want to come forward and tell people that, hey, I've been raped.
I mean, I might laugh at you. I'm going to be honest.
But why? Okay, what if your homeboy said to you?
When I hear it the first time, I'm going to laugh. I'm not even joking.
But we need to not, like, and I'm not saying don't laugh because that's a natural reaction, right? Because even me, I find myself laughing too. But then you really start to think about it. Now think of it being your child.
I think about it. And that's the whole thing. It's like, if I realize that you're actually like traumatized by the situation. I mean, I feel like the age plays a big part too, right? Like, if it's my child and you're like...
No, I'm talking about a grown man, though. Like,
grown man, I'm going to have a problem. Like, I'm going to have a hard time not laughing.
That's the problem. But, like, okay, so your son is, like, in his 20s.
Yeah, I'm going to have a hard time.
And he says to you, Dad, like, I was at a party and this girl was coming on to me. And I was like, you know, whatever, I'm not into it. I have a girl, whatever, she's not here. And then, you know, I was drinking and I just remember blacking out. And I woke up and the girl was on me having sex. And I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, all I knew is my thing is this.
I have no idea how I'd handle that.
For me, I know how I would handle it. I'm calling the police. I'm dead ass.
You're laughing.
I'm calling the police. You know why? Because now you have to get checked. What if she gave you HIV?
Well, that stuff, yeah. But
what if she got pregnant? Now you're having a baby. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that come with that.
Grandbabies.
Then she has to be no, not by a rapist. No. Okay. Okay, women or male, I do not want it in my life. So I feel like it's not fair because when they come to you with that stuff, I feel like we should be able to say, I'm put my foot down. We're gonna go to the school, or not school because you're 20, or college, wherever, university. We're gonna go. We're gonna talk to your parents. This is gonna be a big deal. Like we're gonna be on the news. Be prepared.
But then I feel like that would stop the guy. If you're 22 and then it's like, yeah, we're going to be on the news and the headline is going to be man raped by woman. And then
because
in this social media world, like
I don't even care.
The
you know why?
are going to be.
As much as I hate the memes, I think this is if you keep hearing something enough, it no longer becomes like not a stigma, but it's like a stigma, like, or something funny or a laugh. I think because we don't hear it as often, and again, I feel these men are not coming forward. We're not hearing it often, so when we do hear it, it's ha ha ha. But if we really heard all the true testimonies of all these men being raped, I don't think we would even laugh anymore. I think it'd be to a point where like, yo, this is really ridiculous now. So now women have to understand no means no. Because now it's only a man can, only a female can say no means no. No, men can say it too. So what? We don't take it as serious when it happens to a guy.
No, I don't think society takes anything serious until people tell them to.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but I feel like at the same time, I'm trying to think of the last male affected issue. So where males were negatively affected, what was the last issue where it was just like, yeah, let's take this serious? You have the whole Me Too movement, but that was men raping men. In that whole entire movement, I haven't heard a woman in a position of power that took advantage of a male subordinate, and then it came out. I haven't heard. I'm not saying it hasn't happened.
You know what?
But
I know what you're saying.
We've heard the Weinsteins, we've heard the Kevin Spaceys, we've heard everybody that's been fired or had to quit their job. The morning show guy, like everybody.
Because men are better at hiding it. I personally feel like a lot of men, not a lot, but a good amount of men have had those situations where, okay, just give me some head while I'm at work. I'm your boss or I'm the CEO, and I'll pay a little extra on your check. They cut them, and no offense, most men will be like, okay, and or maybe say no and lose their jobs, but there's subtle little lawsuits that go through and you just pay them off and it's done with. You know what I mean? Where those men are not going to come now to the media because of how we would react. And that's the thing you have to think of. Like, okay, I put myself in the limelight, but then I'm going to be the clown. Yeah. And then every other woman at this point is going to be like, oh, no means no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, for sure.
So it's stuck. It's a sticky situation, but I feel like men really need to step up when it comes to rape and domestic violence, and to do it for that little boy, because there's little boys, unfortunately, that have been raped that don't feel that they can say anything until they reach a certain age, like R. Kelly. You know what I mean? And those are the type of men you don't want around your child. So at this point, you might as well allow men to start coming forward as soon as possible and not judge them and before it's too late. And lastly, before we finish off the topics, Lori Harvey is like my new little icon for the month. Because Lori Harvey, it's Steve Harvey's daughter.
What's she do?
She's cute. She just like an Instagram model, such as whatever. Did you ever see her? She was dating. Huh? Go look at her. Lori Harvey. She actually took some steps from her father. So Steve Harvey obviously wrote the book Think Like a Man, Act Like a Lady. Well, she's definitely thinking like a man and acting like them too. So she's just doing whatever the hell she wants. So she was once engaged to Lewis Hamilton, and then I believe they said cheated on him. She cheated on him with different people, but she's dated Trey Songz, Meek Mills, Justin Combs, all our little celebrity crushes that we may have. And there's she's been going around in social media. People are talking about it. Like, some people are trying to drag her name down and other people are trying to bring it up like it's a funny comic thing. But for me, I think it's laughable, because the amount of men in the entertainment industry that cheat on their women, that have multiple women, dated everybody.
That doesn't make it okay.
It makes it perfectly fine in my books. So go ahead, girl. Day on. Talk to whoever.
She's cheating.
Mingle. Well, she's not married.
But she's cheating in a relationship.
Well, now she called off the engagement.
So she was engaged and cheating?
With Lewis Hamilton. So they say. She's never admitted to certain things, but
I see a lot of pictures with her and Trey Songz.
Because that was right after her engagement broke off. She was with Trey Songz. But now, if you look on her social media, she took down the picture of her and Trey Songz. So I don't believe they're together anymore. But she was apparently, I don't know, she was seen again with Lewis Hamilton, and she's dated all these other celebrities. So obviously they're just kind of comparing her to her father. Like, is she taking these, these notes from these books?
Think like a man.
And then instead of acting like a lady, she's acting like them too. And I think it's hilarious. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think everything is wrong with it.
She's young. She's single. She's like in her
early 20s. No, you're not
20s.
single if you're engaged.
No, she was engaged. She called off the engagement.
After she got caught cheating?
No, I think she called it off. I can't tell you because I'm not her. So she called it off. She called it off. Maybe when she realized she was no longer interested. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. She moved on really quick. And he even took offense. Lewis. He was tweeting.
Sorry. Does this nigga have her foot in his cheek?
Yeah.
What? That's supposed to be.
I just love it. Because men, see, this is a reversal for me. Like, see how we're talking about women should stop this and men should come forward. This situation right here, there's too much men, especially entertainment industry, where all these guys feel they can talk to multiple women, even though they have their woman at home. And I'm not saying she needs to be in a relationship, but she's just, testing the waters until you get married. I don't technically think it's cheating until you're really married.
So then that same,
I shouldn't say that. Let me take that back.
Keep that energy.
I'm not keeping that energy. No.
Energy.
I take part of that back. I'm taking part of that back. It is cheating when you and that person, we're in a monogamous relationship and we're working towards marriage, right? However, if you're just dating casually, like date.
But that's fine. But nobody is going to be classified as your boyfriend.
People do, though. Especially when you start dating somebody, they get hooked or they kind of like, I like you so much. Shit, you like me. So now what?
But if I'm not classifying you as that, nothing that anyone else says matters. But these people are saying, they release statements when they're no longer dating to say we've ended our relationship. So you're in a relationship.
She technically ended the relationship.
And
but I feel like she didn't but you know what? I feel like it was just one of those, it was too soon. Do you know what I mean?
Too soon for what?
For her to start talking to somebody else in his mind. But I don't believe it's one of those situations where it's just like, hey, I'm still engaged. I'm going to mess around with this guy. She could have. She may have not have. But I'm feeling like when she was more public with it, I first thought that they were still engaged. But they weren't. They were already broken up. And she was with Trey Songz. So in his mind, it probably just looked like, wow, we were just about to get married. And now you with the biggest player, Trey Songz. Trey Songz a whore. Let's be real.
But
he's a whore.
But people support like her being with him.
Yeah, because it's funny. Two whores, two. Nope. See,
tell me how you really feel. Tell me how you really feel.
Two people together that maybe one can show them a little something. Like he looked caught up. He looked like he was so in love and smitten. And then boom, she perhaps must have broke up with him too. So for me, I just feel like karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. I don't know, but that's all I got to say. I had some trivia games for Black History Month, but we're going to have to do that next week. But thank you for tuning in to bChic, Not Bougie. I'm your host, Alicia, alongside DJ Richie. We hope you tune in next week because we need to have some more good debates. I think today was a good debate.
Yeah, that was
good combo. But don't worry. Just tell me if any girl tries to rape you.
I don't know.
And why? No. See, Richie.
Are you allowed to report rape if it felt good?
I don't know.
I'm just one.
This is Jamie Sparks, and you're listening to iLive Radio,
you know what,
changing the way you listen to radio.
Hey, this is Jermaine Robbins, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Yo, this is Keanu Quinn, and you're listening